Chef Daniel, it's been a while.
It has been almost 5 years.
Exactly,
isn't it? Yeah.
exactly. So how great to see you here in person, first and foremost.
Thank you very much. It's
Right.
great to be here again.
Again,
Yeah.
in person,
In person.
rising together.
That's right. Exciting times ahead.
Very, very exciting times ahead. Now, Chef Daniel, I know that you're quite well known in these parts of the world here in Abu Dhabi, but this broadcast is going to our World Chef community. So maybe you could just tell us your full name, your title, where you're based at the moment.
All right. So my name is Daniel Hildbrunner. So originally I'm from Switzerland.
Yeah.
But I have left Switzerland for many, many years. So I was 87 and been around.
Wow.
Been around, a few rodeos and obviously been here for a while. We went back to Australia and I thought that's it. That's back to where I was before. Yeah. And then an opportunity came up beginning of the year. And so I work now in the Bahamas.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
What a difficult place.
It was terrible,
yeah.
And the address is actually Paradise Island. So that is something which came up, and it also very exciting because we had after we done the trip back to Australia, living here for 5-6 years, we said that's it. We're not moving anymore, and never say never.
Never say never. Indeed.
Yeah.
Now you've been involved in World Chefs for much of your career. In terms of the associations, the national associations in the countries you've been in, have you always been a member of World Chefs?
Well, I have been. So my first World Chefs Congress was actually in Kyoto.
Wow.
Which I have no idea anymore which year it was. All right. So that was I was in Australia, right. And I think it was the one after Australia, which was in Melbourne, which I did not go because I had no idea about this. Okay. I joined obviously the Australian Culinary Federation in that time when I came to Australia. I had a different name. Last year was my 20 years anniversary of being a member with the Australian Culinary Federation. But I said the first, that time is still called WAX Congress, was in Kyoto in Japan, which was amazing. And because of that experience, I went to many more. I think I missed out maybe one or two, but I always made an effort to come, because
that's great to hear.
Because it's, I think it's, we're all here to learn something, I think, but I think it's the family, the World Chef family, because I said I was working here for 5-6 years ago. I'm back here and I feel like I never left,
Wow, my goodness.
Yeah,
so
it's very
from
nice.
All over the world, indeed, you're a fine example.
Now we are in the Bahamas, and hopefully we can move on and we can create something like that as well in Bahamas, bring some young chefs. Yes. We have some young chefs here, but we hope we can, plant some seeds in this conference and we can take it forward from that,
For the young chefs who might not have the family network that's already there, being a part of a World Chefs event, being part of World Chef Congress, what does the younger chef benefit from? What are the main reasons for them getting together and coming?
I think it's, in today's time we have obviously Google and you can watch videos about any cuisine, about anything what you want to do, and which is quite, it's amazing in technology, but I think it's the human interaction. I think, yes, we can make a video of how we cook something, but I think a very important thing what we still not can do is actually create the smell. So if you cook something, you need to, that's the smell, and that's this, and I think that is something which is still missing. Right? And I think when young chefs come here, I think, especially you take them away, and even though with social medias, everybody walks around with the phone and things like that, but to have that personal interaction, I think that is quite something, and I think it's important to have a personal interaction first, and then you can continue with social media. right? But it gives you a much better connection than just social media, you know, be on Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever. To have that personal thing and keep in touch with social media, I think that is something important and much easier than it was before. But it, you know, it brings them out a little bit on the shelf, talking to people, seeing things, you know, and learning different things. And it's a little bit, you know, taking like a fish out of the water, wherever they were, isn't it? Maybe have 2 young chefs from the Bahamas. Probably the only place they went is across, you know, to the States, and come here to the Middle East and see different cuisine, experience it, you know, and see all these other young chefs. I think that is something quite amazing, you know, build that relationship.
Well, you've clearly been an inspiration to young chefs. I understand you spent some time at the ICCA.
That's right.
When you were here, or in fact, our broadcast partners, ICCA.
Yeah.
So you've also been involved in the education side directly, haven't you?
That's right. So with obviously I was sort of teaching in Brisbane in Australia for a while. Went back to the industry, and everybody said, "Oh, you're crazy, you know, going back to the industry." But I said, "Oh, you know, that's sort of what I want to do." And then, you know, after many years, I came, you know, through a hotel chain. I had the opportunity to open up a hotel here in Abu Dhabi. And afterwards, I had an opportunity to work with ICCA, you know, teaching again.
Yes.
And I think it's quite nice. And, you know, it's a different, how to say, it's a different stress, right? From a hotel environment to a teaching environment, but it's always a stress. But I think it's also a very nice, you know, in a hotel or restaurant environment, it's very nice to have satisfied guests, right? When they leave, that makes you really, you know, worthwhile to do this job. When you see the people leaving, and you know, my wife and me had a restaurant back in Australia when we came back to from the UAE, and it was really nice to have that, you know, interaction with your guests, and they're coming back and sort of, you know, they're guests but becoming sort of friends as well. And you know, in a school, it's different. You have not the interaction with the guests, but you have the interaction with the young students, right? Or, you know, any age of students. We cannot just say, you know, young students, because we had also, you know, more senior age people who said want to do a career change. And the satisfaction you see there, you know, with these people growing, and maybe said, "Oh yeah, I just want to learn how to cook," you know, for one reason or another. And then you see sort of, you know, like a flower open up and enjoying, you know, what they do, and so, you know, this is a career I want to do. And you see them to exceed, you know, coming back here, and they said, "Oh, you're a chef, you remember me from batch, you know, 90 whatever, or 82 or whatever." You say, "No, I cannot remember the batch number, you know, but I can remember the face." And it's very nice to see, you know, people growing and have a career, and, you know, have a passion as well. So that is another thing which is quite enjoyable, you know, that makes you also proud to have to be a part of the journey.
Well, you clearly have a passion, and I really thank you for sharing some of that with us here today.
Most welcome.
Again, thank you for coming all the way from Bahamas and bringing a couple of young chefs with you, which is great. That's what the Congress and the gathering is all about.
That's right. Thank you as well for having me.
With pleasure, Daniel. Enjoy your next 4 days.
I will, for sure. Thank you very much for having me again. Thank you. Cheers.